Good morning, I'm Barbara, and welcome to Barbaras Bulletin. Today we're starting with a developing story that has significant implications for international relations and human rights. The U.S. military has carried out another strike on an alleged drug boat in the Eastern Pacific, resulting in the deaths of 2 people. This incident is part of an ongoing operation against suspected drug traffickers in the region. According to reports from both CBS News and NBC News, the U.S. Southern Command characterized the deceased as male narco-terrorists operating a vessel involved in bringing illicit drugs to the U.S. The strike was directed by Marine General Francis Donovan and is part of an enforcement operation called Joint Task Force Southern Spear. The Trump administration has been targeting alleged narco-terrorists operating in Latin America, labeling them as unlawful combatants and stating that the U.S. is embroiled in a non-international armed conflict with cartels. However, the administration has provided no definitive evidence that the vessels it targets are involved in drug trafficking, prompting heated debate about the legality of these operations. International law experts and rights groups have expressed concerns that these strikes likely amount to extrajudicial killings as they appear to target civilians who do not pose an immediate threat to the United States. Some Democratic lawmakers have also questioned the legality of the operation's deadly strikes in the absence of due process or public documentation of alleged links to trafficking. It's essential to approach the story with a critical and nuanced perspective, recognizing the complexities of international law, human rights, and the ongoing challenges posed by drug trafficking. As we continue to follow this developing story, we will strive to provide balanced reporting and explore the various viewpoints surrounding these operations. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Barbaras Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbaras Bulletin. We're diving into a timely and thought-provoking topic that's been making headlines in Australian politics. The Liberal Party, led by Angus Taylor, has unveiled a new immigration policy that sparked intense debate and discussion. On one hand, the policy aims to strengthen national security and ensure that migrants align with Australian values, such as freedom of religion and a fair go. However, critics argue that the approach is too harsh and may alienate migrant communities. At the heart of the policy are proposals for mandatory social media screening and swift deportations, which have drawn comparisons to policies implemented by former U.S. President Donald Trump. Proponents of the policy argue that these measures are necessary to protect Australia's interests and prevent potential security threats. On the other hand, opponents claim that such approaches are overly broad and may unfairly target certain groups, particularly those from oppressed regimes who are seeking refuge in Australia. It's also worth noting that the Liberal Party is attempting to win back voters who have defected to One Nation, a party known for its hardline stance on immigration. However, this strategy risks alienating moderate liberals and migrant communities who feel that their concerns are being ignored. As one former Liberal MP pointed out, over 50% of Australians have at least one parent born overseas, highlighting the complexity and diversity of the country's demographics. Ultimately, the success or failure of this policy will depend on its implementation and how it is received by the Australian public. While some may view it as a necessary measure to ensure national security, others may see it as an attempt to exploit anti-immigrant sentiment for political gain. As we continue to follow this story, it's essential to consider multiple perspectives and evaluate the evidence before forming an opinion. As we explore this complex issue, it's crucial to remember that immigration policies have far-reaching consequences, not only for those seeking to enter Australia, but also for the broader social fabric of the country. The Liberal Party's new policy has ignited a necessary conversation about what it means to be Australian and how the country can balance its values of freedom and inclusivity with the need for national security. Welcome back to Barbaras Bulletin. As we wrap up today's show, I want to bring you a developing story that has significant implications for international relations and global politics. The Chagos Islands Treaty, which aimed to cede sovereignty of the islands to Mauritius, has hit a roadblock. According to UK Foreign Office Minister Stephen Doughty, the agreement has become impossible to agree at political level due to the withdrawal of US support. The treaty, which was initially negotiated in close coordination with the US, would have allowed the UK to lease the island of Diego Garcia, home to a joint UK-US military base, for 99 years. However, Donald Trump's change of heart on the issue has thrown a wrench into the works. Doughty told the Commons that updating the 1966 UK-US agreement, known as the Exchange of Notes, is necessary to ratify the treaty, but this is now impossible due to the lack of US support. The setback has significant implications for the Chagossian people, who were hoping for a sustainable program of resettlement under the terms of the treaty. The UK government remains confident that the Diego Garcia Treaty is the best means of protecting the full operation of the military base for future generations, but for now, the bill will not complete its passage through Parliament. As we consider this development, it's essential to remember the complex history and geopolitics at play. The Chagos Islands have been a point of contention between the UK, Mauritius, and the US for decades. While some argue that the treaty is a step towards decolonization and self-determination for the Chagossian people, others see it as a threat to regional security and stability. As always, we strive to bring you balanced and unbiased reporting here on Barbaras Bulletin. We'll continue to monitor this story and provide updates as more information becomes available. That's all for today's Barbaras Bulletin. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay engaged.